Okay, today's date is March 30th, and we're at the home of Henry Hudson Saulter Jr. at 1325 West 28th Street in Riviera Beach. And Henry, when's your birthday?
May 16, 1942.
Okay, and people attending the interview are Augustine Gonzalez, who's our cinematographer, and Carlton Cartwright. I'm the chairperson, there I go again, president of the Children's Coalition Incorporated. Okay, and what branch of the service were you in, Henry?
United States Army.
Okay, what was your rank when you separated?
Specialist 4th class.
And where did you serve?
In the United States for a few years and the remainder in Germany.
Okay, there was, and what years was that? What year did you serve?
1962 to 1965.
Was there a conflict going on at that time somewhere in the world?
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
Okay,
That was also in October 1962.
okay. And so, but where did you go?
Germany.
About that. Oh, were you drafted or did you enlist?
I enlisted.
Where were you living at the time?
California.
Okay. Why did you join?
Why did I join? I was looking for a job in California, and I couldn't find one. And across the street from where my brother and his wife lived, they had these signs posted, "Uncle Sam wants you." And every time I would come out and look and take a walk, Uncle Sam's eyes seemed to be following me everywhere I went.
Okay.
So day after day, I could see those eyes saying, "Uncle Sam wants you." So I said, "Okay, you got me," and I enlisted.
Where were you born?
Titusville, Florida.
Okay. And how did you get to California?
I moved there with my brother and his wife. They came home to visit, and my brother wanted to know why was I still, after graduating high school, still living in small town Fort Pierce,
Okay.
and that I should move back to California with him, where there were opportunities much more plentiful
Okay.
in California than there were in the small town in which we lived.
Okay. Did you find a job when you got out there?
No, I did not. I found Uncle Sam.
Okay. I was wondering. Okay. Why did you pick that branch of the service?
I picked that branch of the service because I met a young guy at a park, and he was also had been looking for employment, and we both started batting a little discussion around about going into the military, and both of us decided we wanted to go as partners in the United States Army, and that's what we did.
Okay. 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 So, do you recall your first days in boot camp?
Oh yes, I certainly do.
Tell us about it.
Oh,
Where'd you go in?
I went in,
You were in California, right?
yeah, I think Fort Ord, California.
Oh, okay.
And I recall the first morning, the startling awakeness with the sergeants yelling and screaming and beating on the bunks. And I was on the top bunk, and they were beating on the bunks for us to get up. It was startling, a rude awakening that we were in a different world. I remember that vividly.
Is Fort Ord north or south, north and southern California?
I think that would be Southern California,
By Los Angeles or by San Francisco?
above Los Angeles.
Okay. All right. So I'm trying to figure out what time of year was it? Was it cold when you got up?
You know, I don't recall the
Okay.
weather. I recall the stark cultural contrast from having my own freedom to now not having any freedom whatsoever.
Right.
Whatever you did, you had to ask permission.
That's exactly right. So tell me about boot camp.
Boot camp was interesting. Uh, we did a lot of running, and because I was on the track team in my high school, uh, I outran everybody,
Okay.
and so they were really impressed with me running and the fact that I was in good shape. They offered me an opportunity to go to the paratroopers,
Oh.
and I told them I had problems. I slept on the top bunk, and it was difficult for me to get down off the top bunk. And you want me to jump out of an airplane? I don't think so. I wish
Perfectly.
I'd taken that opportunity looking back over.
Really? Perfectly good plane. I understand. No, I hear you. You regret it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, how were your instructors? What were they like? Training instructors, the DIs.
They were
Really?
interesting.
Uh-huh.
They were usually ranked enlisted officers
Uh-huh.
who taught the classes, and they were pretty rough.
Yeah.
Very knowledgeable
Mm-hmm.
men, but rough. And I think at that time, that's when I began smoking, because they would say the classes would be long, and you would have to try to stay awake, because they wouldn't make you do push-ups or something if you fell asleep
Right.
in one of those classes. And they would say, okay, take a break, light them up. And people would go out and take a break and light the cigarettes.
Yeah.
And so the guy I enlisted in was smoking Tareytons. And I asked him for a cigarette. And I started smoking Tareyton cigarettes.
Right. Okay.
And that was an interesting phenomenon for me.
All right. So, how long was basic training?
I think about 8 weeks, I believe.
Okay.
If I can recall it. I think it was 8 weeks.
Where did you go after basic?
Fort Lewis, Washington.
Washington State?
The state of Washington, you could see Mount Olympia from the fort.
Okay.
The first apparel they gave you was fatigues and a poncho. Why a poncho? It rains in the state of Florida. I mean the state of Washington, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
In fact, we got to Fort Lewis in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
We were handed our gear along with the poncho. Reveille was called the next morning where you had to fall out.
Yeah.
And you had to fall out with your poncho.
Right.
Why? It was raining. Raining hard in the state of Washington.
Okay. Uh-huh. So it rained a lot, huh?
It rains a lot in the state of Washington.
So that was tech school. What was your what job did you go to learn there?
I learned to be a wireman. I learned to climb telephone poles.
Okay.
And that was an interesting phenomenon, because you had spikes on, and you had to place the spikes on the pole
Right.
and alternately climb with a safety belt on
Right.
and climb to the top of the pole.
You had a lot of tools. Was that belt heavy?
No, the belt wasn't heavy, but you had to be careful that you planted one foot solidly as you climbed the pole. A lot of men didn't do that, and their feet would slip and they would fall down the pole. I fell once, but I didn't injure myself. I fell straight down.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, they got you off the ground, huh?
They got me off the ground. I became a wireman,
Right.
telephone repair person,
Oh.
stringing lines,
Uh-huh.
especially to the general's tent, to make sure he could communicate with all of the field stations out in the fields.
Okay. So how long was tech school?
Well, tech schools, once you got your MOS, which was a wireman, then you went to various schools to enhance those skills.
Okay.
And after I got orders, got orders to take those skills to Germany.
Okay. All right. All right. So, and how long was that? How long was tech school?
Probably a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So you out in California.
Between basic and improving on your MOS, being assigned your MOS, and going to the schools to enhance it completely, that was a year.
Mhm.
And I was in Germany for 2 years.
Okay. Okay. So where were you stationed in Germany?
Kissingen, little
Oh.
small town outside of the headquarters of the 3rd Infantry Division, which was in Würzburg,
Okay.
Germany. Berlin from Würzburg, probably 80 miles.
Oh boy, you were really close. Okay. Okay. All right. Did you see any combat?
No, I did not.
Okay. All right. So that 2 years, the 2 years that you spent in Germany, what was that like?
That was wonderful. I had an opportunity to travel because the military allowed you to travel if you went on leave.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to see Sweden, which I fell in love with. They had a lot of jazz, Louis Armstrong. They had a stationary World's Fair
Uh-huh.
in Sweden at the time,
Right.
and all of the big acts from America
Really?
came to Sweden. Louis Armstrong, all of the big jazz acts.
Who else? Who else?
Count Basie,
Uh-huh.
Sammy Davis Jr., a host, John Coltrane,
Wow.
a lot of these folks.
Okay.
So
Dizzy Gillespie?
anytime I got leave,
Uh-huh.
I would end up in Sweden because I loved the country.
Right. Right. Okay. Where else did you go besides Sweden?
I was to Amsterdam,
Uh-huh.
and I never had an opportunity. A lot of folks got to go to France and England,
Uh-huh.
but I was so in love with Sweden
Okay.
and Denmark.
Uh-huh.
Denmark, where we ate raw fish,
Uh-huh.
and I never thought I would do that. And drink sake,
Sake. Uh-huh.
but and eat Venus Schnitzel.
Okay.
Quite an experience.
Okay.
Quite an experience.
So you got along with the people on the economy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love the German beer festival.
Right.
Eine Schnossen.
Okay.
We would try to sing their songs.
Uh-huh.
They'd have all the cheeses and big spreads.
Washing.
Yes. Yes. So it was quite a wonderful experience
Right.
that I would not have had I not joined the military.
Right. Okay. Okay. Were there ever any casualties in your unit?
Yes, a young man who was very popular in the community, 2 young men, went out with a Jeep, and one of them did not come back. We never found out, most of us did not find out how he was killed, but he was killed on that Jeep.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. Mystery, huh?
yeah.
Did you ever find his body?
They found the body.
They found the body.
But they didn't release to us
Uh-huh.
exactly what might have happened.
Oh, okay. They just didn't share the information.
Right.
Wow.
That was a sad commentary. He was in our unit, very likable young man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Up until this point, did you have any issues with racism?
No, probably racism existed as I grew up in Fort Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever my mother would want to go to Titusville, which was about an hour and a half drive from Fort Pierce, we certainly couldn't stop and eat at various places.
Uh-huh.
And if she wanted to buy gas, she chose unique places
Mm-hmm.
where we would stop to get. I think it was health stations that were kind of friendly, but others she wouldn't stop
Okay.
because of racism.
Uh-huh. Okay. But, and so in the military, did you have any experiences with racism in the military?
That was some.
Okay.
I think you had to make some adjustments, and I've always been one who could love people,
Uh-huh.
so I've never had problems with people of any ethnic. One of the things they did a lot was, I think, 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock on all of the speakers, wherever you were stationed,
Mm-hmm.
it was country and western time.
Okay.
So country music was popular, and if you didn't like it, you had issues. I didn't have issues
Right.
because they told great stories.
Okay.
So I never had problems with the people, or I accept people for who they are.
I got you. Okay. Okay. Tell me two of your most memorable experiences while you were in Germany.
One of the most experiences people were telling us about Denmark
Okay.
and the wonderful events in Denmark,
Right.
especially the beautiful ladies.
Uh-huh.
And they talked about it so much that I decided I wanted to go to Denmark.
All right.
Had wonderful experiences, and one of the guys in my unit decided to go to Denmark. And he came back with a story about a young man he had met, African American, that seemed to have all of Denmark, especially the ladies, in his hands.
Okay.
And this young man was coming to Kissingen to visit him.
Uh-huh.
And when the young man came,
Uh-huh.
I was startled. It was a young man from Fort Pierce that I grew up with.
Okay.
And when I saw him, I said, oh my God, this guy was such a bore. In growing up, he lived right next door to my godmother, and I saw him and his sister frequently. He probably did not have a girlfriend in high school. He was kind of awkward and all.
Right.
But here, this guy has transformed himself in the military, was driving a little Fiat. I'd never seen a soldier in the military have his own automobile.
Okay.
First time I saw that.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And it was a guy from my hometown.
Right.
Unfortunately, I think he was on the Autobahn and got killed
Oh my God.
later in that automobile.
Wow.
The second event happened is I was coaching my unit's basketball team. And we were in the gym having playoffs, and I had my back turned, and I heard someone say, Henry Saulter. Normally, if you're from Fort Pierce, where I grew up, people don't call you by your first name.
Uh-huh.
They call you by your full name.
Okay.
If they come and they see you, they will say, well, it's Henry Hudson Saulter.
Right.
We called each other by each other's full name.
Uh-huh.
And I heard this man behind me say, well, I'll be Henry Saulter. I was shocked because I knew it had to be someone from Fort Pierce. I turned around And lo and behold, it was a guy that grew up with me in Fort Pierce, and he and I worked at the Fort Pierce Greyhound bus station washing dishes together.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
I got you.
And so we had a reunion of sorts
Right. Right.
about Fort Pierce.
Okay.
And the fact that we couldn't go anywhere without running into somebody from Fort Pierce.
There you go. Did you tell me about your awards or citations?
Well, I got one award that I remember. One of the things that I was always very capable of doing is making the man. And what that means is if you had guard duty, you had to go up every day and look at the duty roster to see if you had KP, which was kitchen duty, or guard duty. And if you had guard duty, you had to be up early in the morning, your rifle, your shoes, everything spotless. And when the sergeant major would come out to inspect the troops, they would issue orders that you had to be standing with your rifle in your hand, and he wasn't supposed to be able to snatch it out of your hand. You were supposed to be able to release that rifle without any touching between you and him.
Okay.
I made the man so much in the States. Once you made the man, you got the day off. So I was very, very good at doing that. And you, if he asked you one of your basic issues, you had to release that weapon at the same time, tell him what one of these basic issues was.
Right.
And you had to keep going. And I did it so frequently, people used to say, God, he makes the man all the time. So I got a little pin
Right.
for that. Plus I got a pin on the rifle range for being a good shooter.
Oh, okay.
I was so good at making the man that when I got to Germany, I looked up on one occasion, I was assigned guard duty, and the sergeant major that had made the man so much in the United States was now assigned to the same division I was in Germany. And he walked up to me and looked at me and passed me. He said, there's no sense in me trying to get this guy because I couldn't get him when he was in the United States.
Okay.
So it was a thrill
Right.
to see him again, and we got an opportunity to fellowship
Right.
about our relationship. And here I was, a Spec 4, having a great relationship with someone of his rank,
Right.
which is the highest rank of an enlisted person,
What was that rank?
Sergeant Major.
Sergeant Major. Okay. Cool. All right. Did you sustain any injuries at all?
No, I didn't.
No. Okay.
I got one potential kind of on one occasion we were bivouacking, which means we were in the field,
Right.
and there was a split where the road split going in two different directions. My unit dropped me to tell the unit when they came which road, and the other unit did the same and left two of us there, and they forgot us,
Right.
and it was cold. So by the time someone thought about us, we were near frostbite. And they took us to the general's tent, and we were rushed into the tent to try to get our hands warm, and examine us for frostbite. And I had the potential of frostbite on my hands.
But you didn't lose any fingers, thank God.
No.
Okay, good. How did you stay in touch with your family while you were in the service?
Lots of letters.
Okay. What was the food like?
Army child.
Okay.
Now we have occasion to eat stuff with gravy. And whenever I see that white gravy, we had a name for it and when I was in the military.
SOS?
SOS. I won't repeat what that means.
That's okay.
For people in the military, they would know. But SOS, when anyone we would say, what are they having for breakfast this morning? They would say, man, don't waste your time. They got an SOS. You say, oh my, I won't eat this morning. Sometimes the food was good. Sometimes it was a challenge.
Right.
Depending on the cook.
Got it. Did you have all the supplies that you needed throughout the service?
Yes, I think I did. I think we always had, especially in the wireman's unit, there was a sergeant that helped us to work better because we had to sit on the back of a 3/4 ton truck and crank the wires in that on a spool that we had already laid to communicate the telephone wires, and he invented a motor to put on the spool, and when he punched that button, it automatically would wind the line in unless there was something the line got caught on, and we had to stop and untangle it. But we had all the supplies we needed all the time.
Okay. Did you experience pressure or stress?
I think depression and stress was probably sometimes being homesick, missing family, having left my brother in California, and now being overseas. But I wouldn't give anything for the experience of serving in the military. That was quite a reward. The United States Army.
Did you keep a diary?
Pardon?
A diary.
No, I did not.
Okay. All right. So where were you when your service ended? Were you in Germany or were you over here, back
I
in the
was in
States?
Germany.
You were in Germany. Okay. Do you remember the last days? When you separated?
Oh yeah, I remember that because you were given some cash to go with the amount of leave that you had and your separation. Separating from anything is has mixed emotions,
Right.
and whether you're going to re-enlist or separate permanently. And what happened to me was when I was in high school, I was always a thespian. A thespian is a person who loves theater.
Uh-huh.
And my English teacher knew I wanted to be an attorney, but she came to me on one occasion. I was sitting in the library and sat beside me and counseled me that if I did ever decide to go to college, I should major in theater. And I gave that a lot of pondering and thought.
Right.
And I was in Germany, and one of the guys in my unit said to me, there is a group that's here in Germany from the United States that's with the USO tour. And they hail from Tennessee State University in Nashville, and they are putting on a play at the service club. And I said, are you kidding? He said, yes. And he said, are you going? I said, I am going. Because my heart bled wanting to see a play. They were outstanding.
Okay.
I promised him that when I got out of the military, I was going to Tennessee State to college. And that's what I did.
Okay.
And I had an opportunity to meet some of the same people that I had met after they completed the play. And they stood around for introductions and all. I went up to meet some of the people. I got to meet them as a student at Tennessee State University.
So when you separated, where did you come back to from Germany? Did you come back to Florida? Or?
Fort Pierce.
Fort Pierce.
I went to finish my second year of college so that I could transfer to Tennessee State.
Okay, so you used your GI Bill.
Yes. I used the GI Bill.
Okay. All right. So what'd you get a degree in?
Theater. I
Okay.
got a Bachelor's of Science in Theater and a Master's of Arts in Theater.
Oh, you got your master's degree.
Yes.
Oh, excellent. So what did you do after school?
I had quite a few job offers because at that time there were very few blacks with master's degrees in theater. So you had, especially as it relates to HBCUs, historical black universities,
Right.
that wanted instructors, technical directors in theater, and those. I had all kinds of job offers. The first job offer I got was to Miles College in Birmingham, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And I used the Mom's Mabley understanding of Alabama, that the Greyhound wasn't going to take me to Alabama and the Bloodhounds run me back.
Right.
So I accepted the other job that everybody hoped I would take. I took a job becoming a technical theater director and a speech instructor at the Florida A&M University in Tallahassee,
Okay.
Florida.
All right. Okay. Yeah, we wanted you to stay alive. Did you use your VA benefits to buy a home?
Oh, no, I have not yet.
Okay. Oh.
Considering
Okay.
presently.
Right. Okay. Friends. You stay in touch with any of your friends from the military?
The one friend that came that I met in Kissimmee that we worked, he became a principal, lived in Georgia, but he passed. We kept in touch with each other, but he passed away about 10 years ago.
Oh, okay. Sorry for your loss. Do you belong to any veterans organizations?
I've been recruited by a couple and have not completed the application. My wife and I were together. We met a young man. I can't think of the name of the organization. I have the paperwork, but I don't recall the name of the organization I plan to join.
Okay. Last question. How did the military, how did the military affect your life? So your military experience, how did it influence your thinking about war or military in general?
Well, I think that one of the things that the military does for you is give you a different perspective of life, the discipline side of life, that you can go in and become more disciplined than you were before. If you can't take orders, and there are a lot of them, you have difficulty in the military. Because I've never shied away from being able to take little simple orders, I didn't have a difficult time. Marriage has the same issues. Life has the same issues. Whether you're in a church or whatever relationships you're in, you have to be able to give and take. And the military is no different. The military experience was a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. I'm still benefiting from the military. I just had severe psoriasis.
Oh, okay.
And being able to go to the Veterans Hospital, who referred me to an outside source,
Right.
who are able to refer me to light treatment that's healing
Right. Good.
the psoriasis.
Made you a happy man.
Happy man.
Okay.
It's all because of the military,
Right.
the benefits.
Okay. Well, I wanna thank you for a great interview. Thank you for your service.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna get a quick photo